had lots of time before this one to put our heads together and think about things. And it sort of sounds simplistic, but we just were like, what's the best Bond movie we can make? That's where we started, you know, with the things that we love about Bond films. I mean, whether it's the cars, the girls, the gadgets, we've got all that. That was day one. After that, it was that, how do we make all of those things interesting and make a story as exciting and as Bond-like as possible?
I, like everyone else, have my own personal relationship with Bond, which began when I was, I suppose, about 9 or 10 years old, when Live and Let Die came out. So, you know, I've always been a fan of the movies, and I thought that it would be a wonderful thing to do.
We had some very clear-cut plans for the film, and I knew that Sam would put all of his knowledge of movie making behind it, but also all of his knowledge and love of Bond.
Action! I've never felt like I wanted to reinvent the wheel. You know, I don't think it's about, oh, we can't have glamorous locations, we can't have beautiful women. We've done that before. I think that's a given, the Bond movie. When I go and see a Bond movie, that's what I want. But it's a tonal issue, and it struck me that it is still possible to make a big, fabulous, glamorous, escapist movie, and yet at the same time to say something about the world that we're living in.
3 months ago, you lost the drive containing the identity of every agent embedded in terrorist organizations across the globe.
The screenplay I thought was excellent. As I read it and imagined the film, it seemed to be of a caliber or complexity that I don't think I've seen in a Bond film before.
My operatives are pursuing every avenue.
It's gone.
At the end of the story, this piece of data has been lost, and basically that means the collapse of the Secret Service, certainly in the UK and probably in Europe and maybe even in the United States, and it's as big a disaster as there could possibly be.
You both know what's at stake here.
Sending an emergency evacuation squad. We're too bloody late. Trust me.
Eve and Bond are working together in trying to rectify it, basically chasing Patrice, the baddie, and trying to retrieve the disc that he has stolen.
It looks like there isn't much more road left.
Take the bloody shot.
What I wanted to try and do in this movie is to push the whole world of MI6 as far towards its own death, if you like, sort of a suicide mission, so that it could then prove its value, its worth, leaving Bond back at the centre where he's always been, but not without a journey in which all of those things at various points seem to be over, including Bond himself.
What do you say about a man like that?
007 reporting for duty.
Where the hell have you been?
Enjoying death.
From the very beginning, we wanted to really mine the relationship between Bond and M, because it is the most significant relationship he has in his life. M is the only person who represents authority to him, and we have two extraordinary actors. We thought, let's just go all the way.
It's a thrilling part to play, and you get to, you know, to be a huge figure of authority, and you get to boss him about, and there is a very special relationship, I think, between Bond and M. I suppose that's completely inconspicuous.
Getting.
I don't think even in my wildest dreams when I started, I thought I would have a cast that included, on top of Daniel Craig and Judi Dench, also Ralph Fiennes and Javier Bardem and Albert Finney and Naomi Harris and Berenice Marlowe and Ben Whishaw and Rory Kinnear.
We had a wish list of who we wanted. I mean, dream cast. We went down the list and we got every single one of them. I don't know if that will ever happen again, but I'm sure happy that it happened this time.
I'm your new quartermaster. You must be joking.
He sort of represents sort of one of the conflicts in the film, which is between the old and the new.
I'll hazard I can do more damage on my laptop sitting in my pajamas than you can do in a year in the field.
He's the new breed, really, of intelligence, and it's largely conducted through cyberspace and cyber kind of warfare.
So why do you need me? Every now and then a trigger has to be pulled.
Or not pulled. It's hard to know which in your pajamas.
Q. 007.
It's a James Bond movie. I'm the lead in the movie. I'm in nearly every scene. But the characters around him are so crucially important to how entertaining the movie is. And we've just been blessed with every character.
If I could have invented a Bond girl, it would have been Berenice.
You made such a bold entrance into our little drama.
Because she has all the components of a classic Bond girl, by which I mean a woman, not a girl, sexy, mysterious, and she happens to be a fantastic actress.
I want to meet your employer.
Be careful what you wish for.
She's really a femme fatale, a strong character who doesn't fear anything. And then the mask drops, and you can see the vulnerability in her character.
How much do you know about fear?
All there is.
Not like this. Not like him.
When I read it, I felt the script was very powerful and the character has dimensions to be played.
Just look at you, chasing spies. MI6. So old-fashioned.
Silva is angry because he was betrayed. He has been suffering that betrayal for years that almost end up with his life. So he wants some revenge.
She sent you after me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad.
I think it's great because it's something personal. It's not about destroying the world. So that helps me to have more kind of realistic circumstances to work.
He's extraordinary. I think he will be the best Bond villain we've ever had because he's so complex and he's dangerous and compelling. And when you have he and Daniel on the screen together, it's fireworks.
The two survivors. This is what she made us.
Everybody needs a hobby.
So what's yours?
Resurrection.
When people say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, that's probably a formula for complacency in our business. So I think we're always looking for ways to rejuvenate it. But action's a challenge because we've been doing it for 50 years. A lot of other films have been doing wonderful action sequences. But we have a team of people that get together and help the director formulate the most exciting and interesting action sequence we can dream up.
I'm pretty harsh on action, and I want it to mean something and have a style of its own and have an idea that I haven't seen before, which is not easy because there are more action movies every year than probably anything else, or at least action sequences. But I've loved it.
Daniel contributes a great deal to designing the action and the fights in particular. And he's the one that really pulls it off because he wants to do as much of it as he possibly can. He's the reason why the action works as well as it does, because he sells it. He's up there, and I think audiences know that.
I'm sure that it's going to be bigger and better than anything we've seen, because that's always the aim. The aim is always to step it up a notch and to make it that much more exciting, that much more dangerous. So I'm sure they'll achieve their aim.
I think Sam and everybody was very brave with it in the sense that we went to a place where I guess James Bond hasn't ever visited.
It's been an incredible experience because there were things that we wanted to achieve, and I genuinely feel like we've achieved them and many, many more. All of us felt that we needed to push this movie as far as we could and make this the best yet.
I'd like people to say the action was cool and it was surprisingly funny. And I would also like them to be moved by it in an unexpected way. I'd like people to really feel like they've gone on a journey. For that, you have to risk everything in a way. You have to have the characters risk everything. You have to almost destroy the entire genre in order to rebuild it. And that's what we've tried to do, and I think it's exciting to see whether people will react to it.
Country. England.
Gun.
Shot.
Murder.
Employment.
Skyfall.
Skyfall. Done.